Good afternoon, everyone. In the today's session, we would like to discuss regarding the applications continuation part. The application point of this NDT techniques in power plants will be going to discuss in the today's class. As far as your syllabus has been considered, the railway sector we have been discussed the scope of this non-destructive testing methodologies in the previous class. And in the today's class, we will be discussing regarding this nuclear power plants, the nuclear and non-nuclear power plants. So in the nuclear power plants, which we are being operating with a high range of temperatures, that we had a range of steam levels, which will be having a status of deformation of the materials with respect to the temperature, and nominally we can calculate that particular range of temperature can be elevated with respect to a mean time period. Hence, we can have a clear-cut vision that the over stresses at which range it can be produced within the entire equipment related to the nuclear plants. So, upon increasing the temperature from the input range, in order to maintain a steam status to be achieved for the power production, from minimum range to the maximum range, for example, to a maximum of 725 degrees and apart with respect to increasing in its status at a steam state, the calculations regarding the time are very much clear that the temperature will be getting varied, and due to the rise of the temperature, the materials will be getting deformed because of its phase transformation levels existing, that as we have been learned in our iron carbide diagram. So here the point creep. So creep is the property, it's a mechanical property of a material that is transforming directly to an plasticity of range by holding maximum for a particular time periods by obeying the Hooke's law concept. So generally we know all aware of the Hooke's law concept that stress is directly proportional to the strain, that too within the elasticity limit. So up to the elasticity limitations, the stresses, the forces that we are being injecting in the form of a temperature to the material in the power plants leads to an phase transformation levels according to its resistance capabilities. So nominally creep is nothing but upon repeated loading, the material will be deforming its shape directly to a plasticity of range. So plasticity of range in the sense we all aware that plasticity is some permanent deformations due to the application of the loads. Such a kind of high stresses that will be getting produced in the status of this nuclear power plants in order to produce the power at a high range of temperatures. So what's the major significance of this creep? In order to design the components which will be utilizing in the power generations industries, nominally the fuel plants, nominal fuel plants and the reactors, in order to assess the lifetime of that particular materials, whether that materials can be cope up to a particular range of generating temperature within the boiler and apart with the temperature that is being maintained in the working process. Normally, see, if you have been observed the creep curve, the strain is being produced due to the prolongation of time period due to the inducement of the stresses. So nominally we can analyze that the stresses are nothing but temperature stresses. So upon increasing of the temperature for the power production, so we have said that there will be causing some of the strains due to these temperature stresses. So how it is being changing its deformations. So structural deviations plays a major role here. The structural deviations. So how we will be getting analyze that type of creep structures within the object. So nominally in the power plants, if it also has been happened, nominally the temperatures will be in a wide range of maintenance. If those got leaked, automatically it's a great damage for the environment to a maximum extent, because the temperature is maintaining at a so far range. Hence, the creep is the property to be verified very much clearly in the case of this nuclear power plants. Nothing but the resistance of the material in order to hold the temperature, or in order to arrest the temperature to a maximum confining ranges. See here the primary ranges, it will be having a limitation. So within the primary ranges, almost all the materials will be having resistance to hold up the temperature for a particular range. Next thing, isolated cavities. There's a secondary states. Isolated cavities that will be getting identified here. The isolated, nothing but increasing in its range of identifying the voids. It may be of an oils or air bubblers, or else any of the offenses which has been arrested within the binding of the materials. Next, even the oriented cavities, which will be having the irregular shapes, and the micro cracks, which will be having in a ductile in nature, and even the macro cracks will be having to a particular millimeters of the temperature, distances, dimensions. So by this creep curve, it come to analysis. This can be analyzed with respect to the replication strategy, that is ultrasonic testing process, or if the radiographic testing process can be examined over it and can be identified the defects over it. Ultrasonic technology plays a major role in order to identify this creep curve. So this is one of the technology can be utilized in the state of this nuclear power plants for identifying the range of the defects existing. Magnetic properties, identification of magnetic properties, potential drops can be identified, its hardness of the material can be identified, the strain measurement. So in order to induce by inducing the temperature stresses, how much strain that is being creating within the object can be clearly examined over it. Positron annihilation, next one, whether the heat transformation zone is being taking place between one metal to other material, or the maximum constraint is being arresting within the material itself, and how much it is being exposed to the nearest distance, and whether the safeguarding materials as a cascading strategy has been provided to it or not. Neutron scattering, a micro level of defects can be identified very much clearly with respect to this neutron scattering. This and all of the strategies can be progressed clearly for identifying the different kinds of defects. So it can be analyze the creep mechanism. So upon high stresses inducement, what are the nominal strains that are being creating within the object can be examined very much clearly. Volumetric or localized creeps. So within a particular confined area, with respect to the material, refilling or unfilled strategies can be examined, or else the localized creeps in the manufacturing area will be getting developed. Critical locations of creep failure, premature failures due to the localized creep and weldments. So in the case of this welding conditions, as the diagram clearly specifies, here we are having two different status of welding methodologies. One is the fusion state of welding and another one is the fission state of welding. So in the case of this fusion state of welding, the additive materials are utilized for filling the gap between the two different materials or similar kind of materials in order to make the weld accessories. As in the diagram, it is clearly showing that this is the one material and this is the another material. And the attachment that is being progressed by the process that is called welding process, that too in the case of this fusion process, where the additive material will be placed in the form of a liquid upon this heat treatment methodology and getting the horizontality for attachment. So non-destructive evolution techniques, how many techniques are existing in order to progress in the case of this, particularly in the case of this nuclear power plants? See, obviously continuous thermal, for the thermal production, continuous heat should be existed to a particular steam status. Hence, throughout 365 days, 360 days, 66 days, continuous monitoring should be existed throughout the power plants or reactors. Nothing but the as a frequent maintenance need to be required for the commencement of this inspection process. Second thing is the periodic inspections. See, coming to a connectivities of the materials, either similar or dissimilar. The mutual connectors between the two different materials will be having its life expectancy. Nominally, upon production also, we use it to specify that a particular time period will be existing, and hence we will be calculating that as a lifetime period of a material. So before the life expectancy of that particular materials, the replacement activity should be done, that generally we will use to call as a maintenance. And logically, if the much more higher temperature has been produced for an incrementing of thermal production in the nuclear power plants, obviously the materials will lead to a high productivity of the temperature accessories. Then use it to confide for getting this frequent monitoring and even the periodic inspections, particularly at the such kind of objects which are creating and sandwiching between the two different components that used to transfer the entire power that has been produced from one place to another place, or else from the heat efficiency areas to the generated steam, and should be transferred to a turbine for its rotation at a high pressure and high temperature. For this, chromium and molybdenum steels will be utilized in the power plant for arresting the maximum range of temperature, nominally at a steam state. coming to the point of this replication, in the metrographic technique, commonly we will be utilizing the method for identifying this creep damage, that generally we will be calling as that non-destructive evaluation for identifying the creep property within the entire materials. So first one is, generally we use it to measure this creep. So creep is nothing but one of the mechanical property that has been undergoing under the permanent deformation, that is plastic deformation we will be saying, due to the repeated load conditions. So that is the general mechanical way of a definition for it. So initially, in order to identify within the materials, polishing and etching need to be considered. So polishing in the sense, so it should be made dust free from the environment initially. For that particular situations, polishing will be getting done. And next, etching. Etching is nothing but in order to create the bond, and upon identification, no other particles should be confined for its appearance. So it should not obstruct any of the external particles for its fragrance, appearance. So up to which level or up to which mark the defects are being existing. So for that particular situation, this etching will be getting taken place. So nominally we use it to apply some of the lubricants for it, as gels or lubricants. So application of a film, softening with the solvent, allowing to solidify, and removal of the film, and observing the film under the microscopic technology will clearly give the analysis up to an atomic range, up to its atomic range. Generally, we use it to call it as a microstructure in our mechanical language. The micro level of identification from atom to atom range, and how the bonding has been considered. So, how to which range that particular crack has been, that creep damage has been considered. So this is a replica method. So replica method in the sense will be identifying in the film, but not in the actual part. So entire the replica of the actual defected object will be showing in the film, because the film will reflect oriented object that will give a confiding nature upon to our visualization during the microscopic technique. But the original material may lead to some of the deviations within the identification levels, and hence this replication methods plays a major role in order to identify the crystallographic structure of the object when it has been gone under the creep inspection. So in almost all the situations, it's not much utilized or possible for utilizing this kind of technique. There are some of the limitations. So what are those limitations? So we are having some of the advantages, that identification of the creep and to which levels it has been identified. If at all furtherly it has been caused damages, that will lead to an entire plant in an hazardous situations. Hence, in order to overcome those kind of situations, we are being utilizing this NDT technologies for keeping the entire plant orientations or entire the plant's equipments within the safe operating conditions. So some of the limitations in the case of this replica method, it is commonly assumed the voids at the surface levels or the subsurface levels can be detected very much clearly as a stage of the screen, and the number of cavities per unit area that may be misleading in this direct visualizations or replica conditions. So replicas maybe cannot be projected into the film exactly, may not be reflecting in the film exactly. So the development of these apparent voids during the surface preparation creates some of the deviations of replica strategies. So the individual judgment is not at all confined for identifying this strategy. And It cannot detect the subsurface defects, only the surface levels only can be impregnated over this film. The lengthy procedure is required for the testing process because 4 or 5 different steps, that is pre-cleaning, application of the lubricants, strategies, applications, and making it to dry conditions, and replica film placing, and replicas need to be observed in the microscope, etc. leads to some of the lengthiest procedure for its identifications. So hence ultrasonic is one of the technique can be utilized for this creep evaluation, and even this ultrasonics is also the non-destructive testing process that passing the echo signals, which is having at a high range of frequency, a particular volume of space, volume of the material, and can be examined the entire defects that are being scattered and clearly identified with respect to the deflections that are being identified in the oscilloscope. And if at all the transducer has been placed over that, the voltage levels or fluctuations can be monitored or filtered over it and clearly visualizes in the display screen in the form of a digital representations also, as per its voltage considerations, or else when comparisons, if the standard values has been progressed to it in the form of a controller. So the deviations which are having a much more heavy can be clearly configured over it and rectify it to a maximum levels. But one of the defect it is the inspection can be progressed only at a room temperature. And in this ultrasonics, the wave velocity should be monitored, birefringence should be specified, wave attenuation should be identified clearly, backscattering should be captured with respect to the transceiver, because the device which is using as the source itself has to again grasp the backflow or scattered rays or scattered waves, sound waves, and should examine how much penetration it has been progressed within the different phases of the materials, either in the liquid form or else the solid form or else the gaseous state, which has been enclosed within a particular volumetric space. Coming to the wave velocity, it's based on the variations in the physical properties because of its wavelength or frequency variations. It will be getting deferred. The longitudinal wave velocity decreases monotonically with increasing in its porosity. Because of this longitudinal wave velocity decrement, obviously it's used to travel in an unidirectional flow. Obviously, decrementing in its frequency agitations is enough in order to identify the defects, but it leads to an incrementing in the status of its porosity. Small air gaps will be getting taken place, and it will be deposited as an small air bubblers at a upper stream layer of the objects. So if at all the liquid offenses due to the force of buoyancy, it will be exposed to the normal atmospheric range and will be maintaining in a confining areas. Coming to the microstructural changes, it plays a major role for void formation because chromium and molybdenum, its composition of 9:1 ratio, the steel has been utilized for manufacturing the reactors. Then wave velocity is an sufficient range should of frequency can be utilized for identifying the void formations. And nominally at that particular composition levels, we use it to find the different kinds of voids that need to be confided over the entire plant operations. Coming to the birefringence, basically it depends upon the velocity difference of two shear waves. It has been polarized. So nothing but polarized in the sense it will be having nominally some velocity and nominally some frequency. But those two will be in a, moving the sound waves in a perpendicular directions. So exactly having its deviations in perpendicular axis, that is 90 degrees maintenance. Hence, it leads to identify the cavities and micro cracks which are having originated due to the stress limitations, variance of the implications of stresses that are applied at different stages. So hence, creep is one of the mechanical property, as we all know that the repeated loading, my deformations that will be commencing in the objects due to the repeated kind of loadings. So here the temperature is continuously applied. So hence we can obviously calculate that repeated kind of loadings continuously. There is no any halting for its productivity, because if it has been stopped in its productivity with respect to one reactor to another reactor, it leads to an darkening conditions in the major cities or else in the major parts of the world. Hence, main stresses will be getting leads towards this temperature. Because of the temperature and creep stages can be examined very much clearly by utilizing this ultrasonic technology. Next thing is the backscattering. Nominally, partial reflection of this ultrasonic waves will be taking place because of the materials phenomenons. Because if the silicon content has been having the composition within the material, obviously it will be having the reflection capability, and even the scattering object also, scattering specifications also, even in different inclinational factors, nominally in different inclinational factors. For that, the spatial or material noise plays a major role in order to identify for maintaining an uni-strategy and non-uniform strategies, because the pulses that fell back from the wall where the echo has been hit over leads to a generation of the noise at the defected zone. So that leads to identify the factors where the wave has been propagated to a particular volume within the object is nothing but the identification of the crack and to which dimensions the crack has been confined. So the source of this error, material noise, will be occurring during the operational process in two different conditions, and that will be happening, that noises will be happening because of two stages, that is inhomogeneities conditions and coarsening of precipitates due to the thermal ascent, so increasing in the temperature zones from the basic range of zones. Coming to the point of this welded chromium and molybdenum steel specimens, automatically backscattering effect will be getting taken place for the leading of creep life, identification of creep life, particularly used to find out the time specifications also. Normally used to identify at a less frequency, used to confide with respect to a sensitive areas. Upon scattering, the sensitive areas will be having proceeds with respect to the creep damages, identification of this creep damages in the welding conditions where in the reactor has been considered. And at various stages, as per the standards, the creep life of this backscattering will be commencing at 650 degrees centigrades of temperature, and will use to identify a tensile strength of 66 megapascals. So 650 degrees centigrades of temperature and 66 megapascals of its tensile strength. Tensile strength. So nominally, we will be utilizing a greater than or equivalent modulating of its frequency between 4 to 20 megahertz. So 20 hertz is the nominal range of the hearing capability, and more than 20 hertz to 20 megahertz is a nominal utilization or frequency range that is maintained for ultrasonic inspection technology. So these are the pictorial representations used to confide the cracks or mini range or to a maximum range, or where the most damaged areas can be cleared up with respect to the position A, with respect to a red color implications, and this pink color implications will clearly initiates that the yet to be failured in conditions and differing the material, and at the welded areas by filling with respect to the additive material. So nominally, in order to join this two different kinds of metals or similar kind of materials, in the case of this fusion state of welding, additive material is placing a major role in order to liquidify and placing that liquid in between these two different materials or similar kind of materials for constituting a joint that we are calling as a butt joint. And the material is a secondary element which has been deposited in between these materials for commencing the weld conditions. So how much it's a solidification? Nothing but we can say this is also a casting process. So liquefying a liquid is being deposited within the two materials and confining its area. But as this is the different material, and it is that material is being placed in between the two solid fences practically. Other two materials are completely solid materials having its own mechanical properties. So upon solidification of this additive material which has been placed in between these two materials, after completely solidification, if you have been got examined defective areas or porosities considerations, and slow due to the slow process of cooling or quenching process that has been maintained at the nominal procedure, we can clearly get the quality of the weld, and its creep variations can be clearly examined due to the temperature increment in the case of these nuclear power plants. Next is an positron annihilation. Nominally, it's an anti-particle counterpart of the electron. It's nothing but vacancies or dislocations or micro voids which can be visualized only with respect to an microscopic technologies can be identified, and the parameters such as incrementing in its lifetime or decreasing in the Doppler shift, decreasing in its angular deviations can be present in the case of this open volume defects. So open volume defects in the sense that are being exposed, nothing but we can see our sides of an 3D object. 6 different sides will be existing for an object, and sides of an objects. So Doppler effect. So whether in grain to grain of area, it is being increasing or decreasing. So decreasing plays a major order role. So nominally, in order to increase the strength of the material, the Doppler effect should be in increasing strategy, but decrementing leads towards the overstrain of the materials. So angular deviations, that is also will decrease because the longitudinal flow should be confided for layer wise of having its strength ability. tensile strength nominally is called. So by using this technology also we can identify the creep conditions in the case of these power plants. But this technique is also having some of the limitations that it can inspect only a very thin subsurface levels, but not a maximum thickness containing materials. In fatigue damage, the parameters respond up to 10% of fatigue life only, and even it decreases in its positron lifetime in some steels, nothing but leads to a composition range. In some composition range of containing steels. And even the magnetic method also can be progressed in order to identify the failures in the nuclear power plants. Ferromagnetic materials mainly such as Bark-Hansen emission or noise techniques which will be placed, and this magnification levels will be getting progressed at that particular range due to an ferromagnetic substance. When ferromagnetic substance and the emissive waves clearly identify the range of cracks which has been clearly examined in the case of our diagram. Nominally, these magnetic properties will change according to the seasonal variations. Particularly in the normal atmospheric range, it will be getting varied very much lightly, and towards the overheating, it will be getting changed because it will be limiting to its strength, and towards the cold working process also, it will be varying drastically. And these differences will be getting considered in the case of this composition of the alloys and even the presence of residual stresses. Nominally, in this molybdenum and chromium composition of the steels, which are utilized widely for reactors manufacturing, maximum Bark-Hansen emissions, nothing but the sound pollution, we will say, we used to say that as a major function of a creep life will be increasing, and later on it will be getting decreased. So why it will be increasing gradually and suddenly why it will be getting decreased? So the reason behind it is initial coercing of grains and precipitates helps domain the wall movements. Nothing but coarsening, initial coarsening. So initially when the temperature is being formed at a steam state that used to move over these grains, that moves on, and later it will get precipitates. Initially, upon increasing this temperature, leads to a phase transformation of range. Nominally, as per our iron-iron carbide diagram, we use it to spell out that austenite range of temperature. So it's a semi-solid. So semi-solid or semi-liquid, we can say. Transferring of its semi-liquid condition, and then later on upon quenching process, it will be regained back to its original shape. That moving back to confined length. Sorry, confined solidification, complete solid state again back. So that we will be saying as some walls. So that's why slightly the grain sizes will be getting increased gradually, and later on upon solidification process, slowly it will be getting decreased because of bonding will be getting increased. Hence the mechanical properties of the materials also will be getting varied. And even by the eddy current testing process also we can clearly examine over this, because its microstructure, surface roughness, and the internal commitment of voids, and at what range the voids are being existing, and to a creep level up to which levels the deformations are being examined due to this creep property can be clearly examined by utilizing this eddy current testing process. And for this, austenitic chrome steel boiler tubes will be getting utilized for identification and producing of this electromagnetic effect. And the potential drop clearly identifies the areas at which the cracks has been identified. Gradually, the creep test, in the creep test, the potential drops will be getting decreased initially, and later on it will be getting stabilizes. And finally, it will be getting increased slightly upon its variational levels. And later on, we can confide the volumetric damage. So volumetric in the sense how much dimensions, size, depth, length, and its three-dimensional ratios can be clearly examined. So hence volumetric damages can be identified. So identifying of its hardness, and coming to the limitations, microstructures of variations cannot be examined in the case of this eddy current testing process. And the X-ray diffraction methodology is one of the technique plays a very important role in order to find out these local strains which are being produced due to the variations of these temperatures. Coming to the conclusion and the discussion point of view, ultrasonic measurements, these are affected by the material noise, because ultrasonics are nothing but one of the echo systems utilized for grasping the good results. But due to this imposement or impregnations or penetration process over the materials in the early stages, finally, at the time of this penetration, this more sounds will be getting generated, but results will be generating in a satisfactory conditions. Even the micro cracks also clear cutly examined. That's one of the defect we can consider in the case of this ultrasonic testing process, but we cannot say exactly the defect, because up to the micro level range also the inspection technology is getting progressed, and precise range of results are being getting back to us. And this Barkhan or magneto acoustic emissions, which are having the potential for localized characteristics that are being detected in the case of these ferromagnetic materials. These are the good essentials for getting the precise results. And in the case of this eddy current testing process, potential drop technique is one of the creep damage technique, which give the clear cut visualizations in the display units also. So these are the different testing methodologies can be non-destructive testing methodologies can be utilized in the case of this nuclear power plants for examining its creep status due to the different variations in its operating parameters. And we'll be coming up with the new application in the next class. Thank you.